And joining me now is Jacob Blake's mother, Julia Jackson, and Ben Crump, the family's attorney. And Ms. Jackson, thank you so much for taking the time. And Ben, it's always great to speak with you as well. But I want to start with you, Ms. Jackson, and first ask you if you can give us any of the latest updates on Mr. Blake and how he's doing.
He is currently still in surgery.
And I mentioned toward the end here that the Justice Department has said that they're going to get involved in the case. Have you heard from anyone at the Justice Department so far?
We have not. The governor's office reached out, but we haven't heard nothing from the Department of Justice.
So the governor's office has reached out, and what did the governor's office say that they're willing to do for the family?
Well, at this point, they haven't went into details about that aspect, but Ms. Jackson is very grateful to the governor's assistance for cutting through the red tape so she could visit her son in the hospital, because initially her and her pastor were turned away at the door.
Were turned away?
Yes.
Can you describe how police treated the family? Because one of the things that's so jarring, Ms. Jackson, when you look at the video, is the fact that you can see that members of the family or that other people were there. There were witnesses all around. You could hear people screaming. You could see them really close to the officer when the shots rang out. What did police say to your family members? What did they say to your children? Did they try to comfort them? Did they say anything to the family at that time?
I wasn't there, obviously, so I can't really say exactly what was said or wasn't said.
But did your family members indicate that that police had any explanation for what was happening, or that have you heard that they said anything to your family members?
No.
No,
I'm aware of.
not at all, Joy. But what we have heard is that the person who videotaped the encounter, the police harassed that individual. And that's a trend, Joy. As you know, in George Floyd, the young lady who was filming, she got targeted as well. So what is wrong with transparency?
Right. And your grandchildren were there, am I correct?
3 of them, yes. 3 of Jacob's sons.
And how are they? How are they doing tonight?
As to be expected. And asking a lot of questions. They mistake their dad. They want to see him. And they tell me, Grandma, the police shot my dad.
Yeah.
And why? And I have no answers.
How did your grandkids, if you know the answer to that, in general, feel about police before this happened? What were their impressions of police?
Well, even with my children, when I was raising my children, I taught them as I was taught as a child, officer friendly. So I do that with my grandchildren as well. I can't really tell you how they feel inside at that age. They are very young. I want it to be known that I have the utmost respect for our police departments, and I don't believe that all police officers are monsters or anything like that. There's few bad apples in every walk of life, and people make bad decisions, and they have a horrible job, and it's scary. I get that. I just wish there was more training, more something that they would choose better and learn how to diffuse a situation instead of shooting people when not necessary. In some cases, it may be necessary, but in this case, in several others, it was not. So I'm not trying to, just for the record, I'm not trying to demonize police. I have some officers that I am very close to, and have a good relationship with them. And
you all prayed together at the hospital?
Oh, yeah, we did. And I gave a big hug, and we had a nice conversation. And all of the officers that assisted me and escorting me to and from Jacob's room were phenomenal.
And do you know the details of what Jacob was trying to do when police arrived. I think for a lot of people, they're wondering how this began. Do you know the details of what sort of a dispute he was trying to intervene in? What was he doing before this shooting took place?
No, I don't. I know that Jacob video called me earlier that morning. He and Israel, whose birthday it was on that day, were picking out toys and other things for his birthday party. Outside of that, I know nothing.
And Ben, you know, the thing I think for a lot of people is that the whole incident seems very murky. It's very difficult to understand how things would escalate to the point where an officer would get so close to a man, an unarmed man, and just begin shooting him. Have police explained from their point of view what happened and why he was shot, why Jacob Blake was shot?
They have not, Joy. And what they have said is, don't rush to judgment. We have to put it all in context. And that is so shocking, Joy, because they always use a video when it's a person of color who's accused of something nefarious. They say, well, we have video. But now that we have video of the police doing something, shooting a man 7 times in his back at point blank range when he's going away from him, they say, don't rush to judgment, even though they rushed and shot him. And why is it, Joy Reid, that the video is not enough? We saw what happened. The video speaks for itself. So we are saying these police officers should be held accountable. Her son should not be lying in surgery, fighting for his life.
And the last question to you, Ms. Jackson, do you want to see the officer arrested?
Most definitely. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry that all of this has happened. But yes, there definitely has to be some serious consequences. When we make bad decisions, there's consequences, no matter who you are.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.